Hello students, let's learn another important term used in coordination chemistry, that is ambidentate ligands. So what are ambidentate ligands? They are unidentate ligands which contain more than one donor atoms. So they can coordinate through two different atoms. Example NO2 minus, SCN minus. So they are actually unidentate ligands. They are unidentate ligands itself, but it is having more than one donor atoms, or it may have two donor atoms. Why it is called a unidentate ligand even if it is having two donor atoms? Because it can donate electrons through one donor atom at a time. So at a time one donor atom gives electron to the metal. So it's a unidentate ligand itself, but it is having more than one donor atoms. So it can coordinate through two different atoms. So the ligand itself having two donor atoms and it can coordinate through two donor atoms, but at a time it can donate through one donor atom. For example, NO2 minus and SCN minus. So in the case of NO2 minus, it can ligate through nitrogen or it can ligate through oxygen. That means if the donor atom is N, or the donor atom N gives electrons to the metal, so we can write it is NO2 itself. So it is written as NO2 and it is called nitrito N. So if it is if the donor atom is N or nitrogen donates electron to the metal, it is called nitrito N. So another donor atom is O. So the ligand itself is having two donor atoms. If it coordinate through oxygen, it is written as ONO, and oxygen is donating electrons to the metal, and it is called nitrito O. So if N gives electrons to the metal or the ligand NO2 coordinate through nitrogen, it is called a nitrito N, or if the ligand coordinate through oxygen, it is called a nitrito O. So the same ligand can coordinate through two different atoms. So in the case of NO2 minus, it can coordinate through nitrogen and oxygen, but at a time it can coordinate through one donor atom. So it's a unidentate ligand itself. In the case of SCN minus, it can donate electrons through S. So it is SCN and it is called thiocyanate. So it is called thiocyanate. If it coordinate through nitrogen, that is NCS, it is written as NCS. Here nitrogen gives electrons to the metal, or the ligand coordinate through nitrogen. So it is called isothiocyanate. So these are the two common examples of ambidentate ligands. So ambidentate ligands are unidentate ligands itself, but it can coordinate through more than one donor atoms. In the case of NO2 minus, it can coordinate through nitrogen or it can coordinate through oxygen. So if it is N, it is called nitrito N. If it is O, it is called nitrito O. Then in the case of SCN minus, it can coordinate through S. It is called thiocyanate. And if it is N, if it is coordinate through nitrogen, it is called isothiocyanate. So this is about ambidentate ligands.